Hello and welcome to this guide for the most fun sorcerer build I've ever played, the Chaos Conjurer. This is a super fast-paced build that leverages the power of the Oculus to give us continuous, unlimited teleports, combined with Raiment of the Infinite to make them vacuum stun. The only downside is we can't control where most of them go, so we must let the chaos guide us. If you're not really sure where you're going, this build is for you. The true power of the Chaos Conjurer lies in using our toolkit to control the RNG, and because of how unique this is, it offers an incredibly compelling gameplay experience. We back this up with some beautiful synergy between our Conjurations and Frozen Orbs to deliver constant crushing DPS. Fractured Winterglass gives our Frozen Orbs a chance to spawn a Conjuration, and all of our Conjurations a chance to launch a Frozen Orb. Combine this with Enchanted Frozen Orb and Enchanted Ice Blades to continuously autocast themselves while giving us massive CDR, and you really start to feel the power of the Mad Conjurer. I played this build for the last part of mid-game from levels 80 to 100, and so this video will be focused on what I have learned so far. However, I'm pretty excited about the endgame potential, as I was able to pretty easily climb the early parts of the pit before hitting 100 or masterworking much. I will be continuing to push this build and fine-tuning it to create the strongest endgame version, at which point I'll make another video. So if you have any thoughts or ideas you think would be worth adding, I always love to see that stuff in the comments and will definitely consider them for the final build. With that, let's dive in. This build leverages the unique effect of the Oculus to give us the teleport enchantment for free. This basically turns our dodge into teleport, but now when we use it we will be taken to a random location on screen. It also gives us several max evade charges so we can do this multiple times in a row, as well as many additional ranks of teleport. Remember that these additional teleport ranks only scale the cooldown for the teleport spell on our action bar, not the teleport on our evade enchantment. For this reason we are running boots with the primary affix attacks reduce evades cooldown, which will essentially give us an unlimited amount of random dodge teleports as we attack. In addition, we are still running the actual teleport spell on our bar, as this is the main way we can really control the chaos. What I mean by this is that anytime your random teleports are taking you where you don't want to go, you can weave your actual teleport in to get to a more central location and increase the chances of the following random teleports hitting somewhere useful. Mystical Teleport is an upgrade that scales the damage of teleport by 500%, so with 10 plus ranks combined with the fact that Raiment of the Infinite causes every teleport to group shit up and stun it, this spell actually kinda smacks now. Because half the time we will be blinking in the wrong direction, we are complementing that RNG with the consistent DPS of several Conjurations. The first of these is Ice Blades, and we will be leveraging the vulnerable damage multiplier from the aspect combined with the enchantment, which with the Enchantment Master Paragon node makes it so every 33 seconds of cooldowns we spend, we automatically summon Ice Blades. Every time Ice Blades attack, they reduce the cooldowns of all of our abilities. So the more cooldowns you press, the more Ice Blades you spawn. The more Ice Blades you spawn, the more cooldown reduction you get. The more cooldown reduction you get, the more cooldowns you can press. The more cooldowns you can press, the more Ice Blades you can spawn. And this, my friends, is a beautiful positive feedback loop of Ice Blade destruction. Not only does this enable you to get a bunch of Ice Blades up to pump damage, spread vulnerability, and stack Conjuration Mastery, it also lets you cycle through your other cooldowns much more quickly. These include Flame Shield, which we can use as both an engage initiation tool with the Stun Explosion into a guaranteed crit, or we can hold to save ourselves. Sometimes the chaos takes you where you don't want to go, and so if you hold your Flame Shield for these situations, it should be able to save you. I, however, just use it like an ape on cooldown to stun everything, guarantee a crit, and feed into my Ice Blades. We will be ripping Ice Armor on cooldown to keep barriers up and leverage the increased damage to Frozen. Teleport is the final of our 4 cooldowns, which we will be using a bunch, but mainly to weave in between our random dodge teleports to try to control where we are blinking. You'll want to look for a good opportunity to blink right in the middle of everything, and then subsequent teleports have a higher chance to hit everything nearby. Not only are all 4 of these cooldowns feeding into Ice Blades, but every one is giving us a 30% max life barrier for 3 seconds from the protection skill. These barriers combined with Ice Armor will basically enable us to build fully offensive for this phase of the game until we get deeper into endgame and start trying to push higher tier content. Hydra is our second Conjuration skill, and we are basically using this like our generator. Try to always keep your 2 Hydras up and continuously cast it in front of you to engage enemies. Every one of these casts, combined with every one of the cooldowns we are mashing, have a 36% chance, increased by 6% from Enchantment Master, to automatically cast a Frozen Orb, which is our final ability and our main damage pump. With the Greater Frozen Orb upgrade combined with Aspect of Frozen Orbit, our Frozen Orbs will be delivering big consistent AoE cleave combined with constant vulnerability procs. This synergizes with our Ice Blades to give us very high vulnerability uptime. Alright, now take everything I just said and add this insane Fractured Winterglass effect on top. Casting Frozen Orbs have a 50% chance to spawn a Conjuration on explosion, and Conjurations have a 70% lucky hit chance to launch a Frozen Orb. Combined with our Frozen Orb and Ice Blade enchantments, this is going to give us an insane amount of auto-casted Conjurations and Frozen Orbs. Remember that lucky hit is basically the chance of a chance, so the effect on this amulet is a 70% chance of the lucky hit value on your Conjuration spells. If you're unsure how this works, check out my Understanding Lucky Hit video in the description. Additionally, Fractured Winterglass empowers our Conjuration Mastery passive to rank 5, making every single Conjuration we have up give us a 5% damage multiplier, 5% move speed, and 10% mana regeneration, stacking as high as the amount of Conjurations we can summon. Alright, bringing it all together for the main rotation, begin by summoning your 2 Hydras. Immediately follow up with an Ice Blades cast to give yourself a barrier and begin the CDR feedback loop. Start to throw out Frozen Orbs as you begin to randomly teleport. Weave your actual teleport spell into these random teleports to get a perfect clump and stun on everything from Raiment, then follow it up with a Flame Shield stun into a guaranteed Frozen Orb crit. As soon as your Flame Shield pops, cast Ice Armor and pump Frozen Orbs while throwing in as many random teleports as you're feeling. Continue to mash through cooldowns while pumping Frozen Orbs and teleports to max out Ice Blade spawns and thus cooldown reduction. Try to always keep your Hydras up for consistent single target DPS and Conjuration Mastery stacks. Rinse and repeat this until everything is dead or you get too dizzy. When it comes to gear, the main 2 items we need to make this build work are the Oculus and Raiment of the Infinite. There is a third unique that you should definitely utilize if you have it, which is the Amulet Fractured Winterglass, and this has some insane synergy with this build and will definitely be utilized for the endgame version now that I have it. We're using Aspect of Concentration and Ever-Living Aspect for a bit of damage reduction, and everything else is offensive. This includes Aspect of Shredding Blades, Frozen Orbit, Frozen Memories, and Battlecaster's Aspect. For stats, to make things easy guys, just focus on max life, intelligence, and damage. If you're looking to start locking in endgame gear with greater affixes, max life and intelligence are going to be crucial stats that we're trying to stack as much as possible. If you want more detail on affixes for this build, scroll down to the gear stats section in the build link. For the Paragon boards, we are using only a 5 board setup because the intent is to max out our mid-game power by stacking huge elemental damage and leveraging the synergy of 4 legendary nodes, which are all very strong for this build. When we get to level 100 and begin pushing higher tier content, it is likely we will transition to a 6 or even 7 board setup and drop 1 or 2 of these legendary nodes and some elemental damage. This is because the deeper we get into endgame, the more important and impactful multipliers become on our damage equation. Early on, multipliers don't do nearly as much because we don't have high total values in the different groups of our damage equation yet. The more we are able to stack stats towards endgame, the more total value we will have in each group. And the bigger each of those numbers gets, the more impactful each additional multiplier on the whole equation becomes. For this reason, as you approach level 100 in endgame, you should start prioritizing these equation multipliers more than you do base stats. This doesn't work nearly as well in early or mid game because we don't have enough stats stacked in the different groups of our damage equation for the multipliers to be very effective, which is why focusing on base stats over multipliers for these phases of the game will deliver more total damage. Once we reach endgame though, focusing on stacking equation multipliers is what will result in the highest possible damage. When I release the endgame version of this build, it is likely we will have several more of these equation multipliers in our aspects and glyphs than what we are currently running. I hope that makes sense. I'm thinking about doing another math type video now that the damage equation has changed a bit, like we did early on with the Paragon boards close to release. Boom, that's it for this one. Short and sweet, compared to my normal, I guess. I hope you found it valuable. I'm working on my first endgame build for Season 4 right now, which is a continuation of my Crackling Energy Sorc early game build. After that, I have another exciting and powerful Conjuration build lined up, and will likely follow that with endgame testing and honing for this build and my Starfall build. If you like this kind of video and want to see more, consider subscribing. Also, a like and a comment go a long way to let the algorithm help the video reach more people, so if you want to support the channel, those are always appreciated. With that, thanks so much for watching. Remember to take care of yourself, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.